That's solid all the way through. Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the channel. I thank you all for watching. Thank you to my subscribers. And I am very pleased to say that I am now about 99% done with the fairing and the sanding. I just had a couple of little small places here to take care of this afternoon. The biggest thing was I had to mix up some more of that red mud and apply it to this little strip right here that I'm pointing at, which is right underneath the rub rail. And I had blue tape on this earlier. Right here you can see the tape line, and I just brought that red mud on around through that radius and around that corner, and brought it into the rub rail. And like I said, I still have more fiberglass work to do once I get the boat flipped back over, and we'll be draping fiberglass down from this side. And so that's my stopping point right there, is that tape line. But once that has fired off and I get it sanded out, we'll be ready to paint. And I did have one little small area right here in this middle panel right here that I had to come back and apply some more of that red mud to. But like I said, we're done. When this fires off and I get it sanded, I will be taping this off and getting it prepped for paint. Of course, I got a lot of cleanup to do too. I mean, it's just sanding dust everywhere, bits and pieces of sandpaper all over the place, as you can see. So just got a lot of cleanup to do, and I'll make one last pass over the entire hull with some 320 grit sandpaper. And at that time, when I make that last pass, I'll be looking for any pinholes or any little areas that might need some touch up with that System 3 fairing compound. But once I get to the point where I'm ready to start taping off and painting, I will be back. We will see you then. Okay, folks, I am back once again. I am done. The fairing and the sanding work is done. Now, I say that I do have a couple of areas where I'm going to have to come back and touch it up. I'm going to have to touch up some of these corners on some of these panels right here where it got just a little bit thin when I was sanding. No problem. I will touch it up with that System 3 fairing compound. We're talking about just a few small areas like that. Let me get my mask off here. I'll tell you what, I look like the side of this boat right now. This is what I look like. I mean, I got this sanding dust all over me. But I am glad to say that the bulk of the work is done, 99.99999% done. Like I said, it's all down to just touching up some of the areas where got a little bit of the weave still showing through. I've got a few areas like that. I tried to show that one to you on the other side. The lighting was not real good. I'm going to come back and hit those again. That's probably a better example right there. Got a couple of places like that. I'm going to just put some of this System 3 over it. You see me just put that on like a real thin glaze. And so I'm going to get that done tomorrow. Well, let me back up. I've got to get all my sanding scrap, putty knives, scissors, sanding pads. I've just got to get the bottom of the boat cleaned up, and then next I'll have to vacuum off all the dust, and then I'm going to wipe it down really good with the denatured alcohol. Never use acetone, folks. Do not use acetone if you ever think about tackling a project like this, because the acetone will actually dissolve resin. And so always use denatured alcohol for your final cleanup. So with that said, I'm going to call it a night. It is about 10:30, and I've been at this over here. I've been at this probably for a good 2 hours, and like I said, I finally got it smooth. I've just got a few places where I've got to go back and touch up, like I mentioned, And after that, I'm done. I'm ready to paint. All right, folks, we will catch you in the next segment. Okay, folks, we're going to take one last look before I call it a night. I've got the bottom cleaned off now. And now I don't have all the dust and everything vacuumed up yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow, but I just got all the remnants of the sandpaper and sanding pads and sanding blocks off of there, except for the stuff that I'm going to be using tomorrow. But as you can see, I mean, you know, it's all ferret out now, and even though you see all the different colors, that is all blended together. It's all nice and smooth. I am going to make one more final pass over all of this with like 400 grit sandpaper just to slick it out one last time. Then I'll wipe it down again and paint it. And of course, that's after I take care of those little areas that need to be touched up. I showed you that in that previous segment. And I do apologize for the lighting here. It is about 11:30 now. But that's it. We are there. We are ready to paint. Well, almost. Save for the little touch-up work. Oh boy, what a summer it has been. All right, we will see you later. Okay, folks, I'm back. Quick segment, and then I have to head off to work. And remember I mentioned that I was going to have to come back and probably touch up a few areas where there was a little bit of pitting, or maybe where some of the fairing was a little bit thin. And that's what I've been doing this morning. I've just been working on getting the any pitting or any scratches filled up. Like right here, I had a lot of deep scratches right in this area, so I just came back with that fairing compound and glazed over those. A little bit thin on this corner right here, so I just glazed that real quick this morning. Once that sets up, I'm done. I'm done with the sanding. I'm done with the fairing. This was really all I had left to do. And so in the next segment, I will be taping off the float pods and getting this area ready for paint. All right, folks, we will see you then. Okay, folks, I'm back. And I know I said in that previous segment I was done, pending the final sanding with the 400 grit sandpaper. And as I started that process, I began discovering some areas that needed more attention with the fairing compound. Like right over here, I discovered a huge spot right here where I had a lot of the fiberglass weave showing through, and I had a couple of other areas like that that were just a little bit rough and needed more attention. So I wasn't as done as I thought I was, but I am now. And I finally just decided that I've got this about as good as it is going to get. Yes, there probably will be some blemishes in the finished paint job, but you know what that's going to look like when that boat's sitting in the water and we're cutting through the water at about 20 miles an hour. Those little blemishes are going to look just fine. All right, folks, I am going to head off to work here shortly. Tomorrow I will get out here and start taping off my corners, start taping off the rub rail, getting it ready for paint. And I do want to apologize. It has been roughly about 2 weeks. By the time this gets posted up on YouTube, it will probably have been around 2 weeks since I posted my last video. And again, that's just the nature of the type of work I've been doing out here. Just a lot of that detail work that I've been doing, trying to just get this hull as smooth as I can get it. So anyway, folks, like I said, heading off to work. I'm going to get out here tomorrow and start taping everything off, and then we'll get after the paint. All right, folks, see you then. Okay, folks, I'm back. And what you're looking at right there is that little piece of plywood that I used several months ago to perfect my fiberglass / laminating technique. And that was before I started laying down the fiberglass on the bottom of the boat there. But as you may recall, I used this just as a little test piece, just to kind of teach myself how to laminate fiberglass onto plywood, because I had never done that before. So I want to make sure that the paint that I've chosen to paint the boat with is going to be compatible with the substrate, with this epoxy, this two-part epoxy resin substrate, with the fiberglass and the fiberglass resin and the fairing compound and everything that you see on the bottom of the boat. And so what I did this afternoon is I came out here and I laid in some of this red mud, some of that micro balloon fairing compound here on the bottom half, and I put that system 3 up here on the top half. Now I just laid that system 3 down about an hour ago, so it's still wet. But what I want to do, like I said, I want to make sure that this paint is going to be compatible with this resin right here. I don't want to come out after I paint the boat and find a big gooey mess on the bottom of the hull. I don't want to find that the paint has had some sort of a chemical reaction with the epoxy and it's caused it to bubble up and peel off. So we're going to test it, and once this is set up, I'm going to sand it, and I'll get out here in the morning and I'll apply some of the paint, and then we'll see what happens, and hopefully nothing will happen. Hopefully we'll just have a nice nicely painted surface. All right, I'll be back. Well, folks, I had a little setback here this morning. I was going to paint this piece, and like I said, just to make sure that the paint is compatible with the two-part epoxy. And I was going to open up my can of paint here. Actually, I was going to poke a hole in the top and just pour a little bit out into a cup. And let me show you what I found. Now, I did order this paint some time ago, but I've been out here turning it over, shaking it up, making sure that it still was in liquid state, but apparently I didn't do that enough. It had fired off in the can. That's what was waiting for me this morning when I got ready to come out here and paint that little piece. And I'm pretty sure that's solid all the way through. I don't think there's any usable paint down underneath that hard cover right there. Yeah, it had fired off on me. Now my top coat right here that I was going to top that off with, now I can still hear it has not fired off in the can, so we're still good there. But this is actually the kind of like a primer right here, and this was what I needed to paint this with. But now I'm gonna have to go order some more. Hopefully I can get their customer service to issue a refund on this. And yeah, like I said, sometimes these things happen. You know, it's a little bit of a setback. I'm not going to get to paint. I probably won't get to paint this boat this weekend. I was hoping to get that done this weekend, but does not look like that's going to happen now. All right, we will catch you later. Well, I did not see that one coming, but I guess that's the good Lord's way of reminding me to keep Him front and center. Of course, you know, whenever you get involved in a project like this one right here, it's always important to make sure you don't let that project become your idol. And you know, I don't want this to turn into a Tower of Babel. And if you're familiar with the that account in the book of Genesis, and you'll know what I'm talking about, I always want to keep God front and center in my life. So in the meantime, all I can do is wrap up this video. I did reorder my paint. It's going to take about 5 to 7 days to get here. It's not Rust-Oleum, it's not Krylon. This is not something I can go pick up at Home Depot. I had to special order that, and I did not realize it had fired off in the can. So in the meantime, I'll just twiddle my thumbs while I wait. So we will see you next time, and in the next video I will be painting this boat, because I mean it is ready. I mean it's cleaned off, and all I have to do is, like I said earlier, I mentioned it a couple of times in 2 or 3 of the previous segments there. All I have to do is start taping it off, and I need to hold off though on the tape until I'm ready to paint, because if you put the masking tape on too soon and just leave it there, then masking tape tends to weld itself to whatever surface you put it on. So then you've almost got to take it off with a blowtorch. But anyway, I'll wait until I get ready to paint. mask it, and then of course, you always want to pull the masking tape off right away. And that's just so you don't end up having to scrape it off. Folks, that's all I have for you. And I wish that had not happened. I really and truly wanted to be painting the boat in this video, but we'll get it done next time. Until then, to God be the glory, and all of you have a blessed day. And again, thank you for watching, and thank you to all my subscribers, and we will see you next time.